Welcome to episode 22 of the Believe in Balance podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk beyond the burn, 5 surprising truths about finding your body's true balance. The $100 billion rehab question is, how does someone who has had a fall and has lost mobility confidence believe in their balance again? With a fall comes the paralyzing fear of another, and with it, the loss of mobility, strength, energy, and independence. The list goes on, and that's the bad news, and usually where the downward health spiral begins, and illness and aging complications win. My name is David Dansereau, physical therapist and certified aging in place specialist. Now for the good news. It doesn't have to end that way. Welcome to the Believe in Balance podcast, where I'll show you another path forward. Tune in as I share the top strategies and exercises to help you regain control over your balance using research-driven insights, evidence-based programs, and advice from industry leaders in aging and wellness and longevity. Whether you're already suffered a fall or had a few close calls and know you need to take charge and become more proactive about your balance health, this podcast is for you. You're sure to feel empowered and inspired to try something new in each episode. Ready? Let's get started. Want to start off by thank you for joining us, especially the folks that are now coming in listening from YouTube. All 21 episodes to date are now live in the feed on the No Stroke channel and the Believe in Balance podcast. So let's get started. I want you to discard the guesswork that leads to the inevitable burnout of most health journeys. Many well-intentioned people start with high energy, only to lose steam weeks later because they lack a sustainable blueprint or a powerful enough why to provide their true north. If you're joining me for the first time here, I'm David Dansereau. I'm a physical therapist, nutritionist. I'm the author of Body in Balance, and I've developed my Achieve Balance philosophy, coaching mindset, and courses to replace this uncertainty with a strategic approach to wellness. This podcast episode reveals the impactful takeaways from my curriculum that will shift your perspectives from temporary fixes to long-term equilibrium. I want to start with several takeaways. Takeaway 1 is the fear gets you started, but the fun keeps you going. Strategic health management requires a shift from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation relies on external rewards or avoiding negative consequences, like the fear of a medical diagnosis. While fear is a powerful catalyst for initial change, it rarely sustains a lifetime of wellness. To stay the course, you must transition towards intrinsic motivation, where the activity itself, whether it's movement or clean eating or building a new skill or creating something, becomes personally rewarding and fun. Research has shown that while fear can be a great motivator for getting people started on something, the positive development-based motivators tend to be more powerful in keeping people engaged and active in behavior change over the long term. By auditing your own why, you can move away from consequence-based actions. Focus on the joy of physical capability rather than on the dread of disease. This mindset shift ensures your engagement remains high long after the initial novelty of your new routine has faded. Think about New Year's resolutions there and how many people quit by the end of January. My second takeaway, you can't manage what you don't measure. You've probably heard me mention this many times, not only here on my Substack blog, but also on the No Stroke podcast as well. Secure your foundation by adopting a clinical mindset towards your progress. In my 30-plus years of clinical practice, I've always advocated for a 3-step checkup prescription. It begins with these 3 steps. Measure, manage, and move are the 3 M's. Yes, and it is that simple when you know how to apply this rule and take action. This is the only way to achieve true metabolic balance, as it replaces feeling healthy with actually knowing you are healthy. You cannot manage a problem you haven't quantified, so your first step must always be to establish a baseline. To understand if you are truly balanced, you must track these critical clinical metrics. I dive deep into these in my Achieve Balance course, but I always want individuals to start with managing their blood pressure, knowing what that number is. That is the silent killer that many of us, I think it's 2/3 of the population now, are walking around with undiagnosed high blood pressure. Fasting blood sugar. Another big one that most people have no idea where their number is in that area of metabolic health. Total cholesterol and HDL. This is a vital ratio for assessing cardiovascular balance. You can always dive deeper and talk to your medical professional about various lipid metrics that go deeper than that, but the HDL, total cholesterol, and LDL ratios are a good place to start. And you have to know your mobility scores. That's a test of your resilience and where you currently are with your mobility. I'm sourcing this from a specialized movement screen that I do in Module 4 of my course. You can hear about it at the end of this episode. Furthermore, you must audit your energy balance by tracking energy in versus energy out. Tracking energy in is not just about counting calories. It involves identifying foods that fit by analyzing your percentages of carbs, fats, proteins, and alcohol. You have to know what fuels you're burning. Once you measure these inputs and outputs, you gain the data necessary to manage your metabolism effectively before you even begin with the move phase. Many clients I've coached are tempted to use GLP meds, and some have cycled on and off them many times, as well as other diet meds and programs in the past, but most fall short in actually measuring. My third takeaway, the psychology of readiness, the 5 stages of change. Data is a powerful tool, but it is useless without the psychological readiness to act on it. One of the most common strategic errors in wellness, and in stroke rehab for that matter, is the action trap. Jumping into a rigorous routine while your mind is still in a state of indecision. This often falls into that trap once you're discharged from rehab and you don't have a plan. Whether it be that or wellness, progress is not just about the sweat you break during a workout or a rehab program. It is about moving intentionally through the stages of behavior change to ensure your habits actually stick for the long term. If you're not familiar with the 5 stages of behavior change from my book, Body and Balance, they are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. By identifying your current stage, you avoid the premature burnout that comes from overcommitting. If you are in the pre-contemplation or contemplation stage, for example, your strategy should focus on education and awareness rather than high intensity, an action plan that involves very rigorous exercise, for example. Respecting this psychological timeline allows you to build a bridge between your clinical numbers and your daily habits. This is where I believe wearables can fit to help you identify where you are currently and help you set goals for healthy behavior change. You can target metrics like heart rate variability, sleep quality, and you can actually measure blood pressure. My 4th takeaway, idleness is the fast track to aging. I'm going to read that again. Idleness is the fast track to aging. My Body and Balance philosophy views physical function as a use it or lose it commodity. When body parts are left idle, they do not just stay the same. They become defective in growth and liable to disease. My father always said, if you're not building, you're breaking down. And that's so true. This perspective reframes exercise not as an optional chore, but as a vital preservation of your physical independence and biological youth. Quote, all parts of the body which have a function, if used in moderation and exercised in labors in which each is accustomed, become thereby healthy, well-developed, and age more slowly. But if unused and left idle, they become liable to disease, defective in growth, and age quickly, unquote. That quote came from Hippocrates. Some believe he was the Greek father of modern medicine. And he had those insights long before we had Big Pharma and all the medicines with a quick fix solution to all our ailments. Functional movement is the primary defense against the accelerated aging process. By engaging in regular, moderate labor that your body is accustomed to, you maintain or improve upon your mobility scores. If you're not familiar with where you should be starting, tune into my course because I do a whole section on the functional mobility measures that may be appropriate for you before you start. We also look at metabolic health and resilience for the brain and body in aging well as it relates to building your body armor through movement. Idleness is a choice that invites dysfunction, while movement is the strategic path to longevity. Takeaway 5, my final takeaway, accountability is the missing link in most programs and well-intentioned commitments. A lack of accountability is cited as the top reason for goal failure. To solve this, my Achieve Balance course has goal trackers and has an optional coaching opportunity built in for consulting that provides a structured roadmap that turns vague intentions into concrete results. This system utilizes the SMART criteria, ensuring goals are specific, measurable, actionable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound to provide the necessary guardrails for your journey. The most effective strategy for maintaining motivation is to break down your vision into a series of action items, milestones, and victory rewards. And this is what I work on with my clients. Action items includes the daily tasks required to move you forward. Milestones are specific goalposts that mark your progress. And victory rewards are pre-planned treats or health rewards triggered by reaching each milestone. By recording a success vision and assigning rewards to your milestones, you create a self-sustaining loop of motivation. This incremental reward system ensures that you are celebrating success throughout the journey rather than waiting for a distant finish line. My bottom line on all this is your roadmap to build a body in balance is achievable. Achieving true health requires a transition from guesswork to the structured 1, 2, 3 or measure, manage, move plan. By mastering your motivations, knowing your clinical numbers, and psychological readiness, you can build a sustainable lifestyle that lasts. This roadmap is your professional guide to moving from a state of physical imbalance to a life of high function and energy. And that applies in wellness, and it also certainly applies in physical rehabilitation with individuals trying to return to life after stroke and other impairments. As you consider your next step, audit your current mindset. Are you truly in the action stage, or are you still in contemplation? Be true to yourself. Identifying your true starting point is the most important decision you will make for your health. For those ready to take charge, grab a copy of my book, Body in Balance, on Amazon, and head over to become a subscriber of Achieve Balance with Smart Moves PT on Substack. I'm currently loading up my complete action program as a self-paced course to provide you with the essential tools and skills to restore your body to its true balance. So stay tuned on the next podcast episode for more details on that course. Until next time, stay well, keep the faith, and keep moving forward.